Loki, episode 4. Started off with Sylvie being brought into the TVA by
as a little kid.
Yep. Yeah, as a little kid.
So that confirmed that she is a Loki variant, for the theories out there that maybe she wasn't, maybe she was somebody else. Officially, she's legit.
And confirms that she's got long time beef with Renslayer.
But for good reason. They out the TVA out here snatching up children. Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Because they snatching everybody out here.
Yeah,
they taking everybody from Jump Street. Like, that's crazy.
Did y'all notice that she changed her hair?
That's what I said. Didn't her hairstyle change, like, in color and shit too?
Yeah, so she had long dark hair and now she got short blonde hair. I don't know, maybe she was trying to change her look because she knew the TVA was on her ass. Or, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but she didn't say it then. We didn't see it in the flashback. And then she asked her again, what was my Nexus event? Like, why did y'all come snatch me up in the elevator? And, her answer was, I don't even remember, which was some fucked up shit, by the way. But
we just took you, fam.
Right, yeah, I ain't even remember.
Fucked up, but probably a lie.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I'm thinking that her resentfulness towards the natural nature of the Loki character and all of these variants, like he's a mischievous, conniving, kind of like a evil dude, or at least trying to give off the air of evil. And that's not what she was. She was the anti that. So maybe it was her nature that she's like, she's not going to stay on the path that she's destined for. Maybe that could have been it.
So, you gotta go off the rails.
So it's like, do you catch her before she does the deed? Like, how does that even play in effect?
Hey, listen, man, we are talking about Timekeeper police. So, you know what I mean? Let's take it with a grain of salt.
So I kind of feel like it's a lie only because, and I may be fast forwarding a little bit too quickly, but we finally see the Timekeepers. Basically, she throws the sword at the Timekeeper's head and finds out that it's a robot.
It's a robot. Yeah, I hate that. I hate that. You can't spoil the Timekeepers in episode 4, still have 2 episodes left and not have a bigger thing at play. There's a couple tropes in MCU properties. It's the fake death shit, which we'll get to. And then there's the whole Wizard of Oz idea about some of these bigger villains, like this one, the Timekeepers, the Mandarin. They really like the whole man behind the curtain thing. You know what I mean? Like, I despise that. But I'm thinking that if it's not Kang, right? If Kang isn't the person organizing the TVA and that's what the next big arc is to close the show out, then I think something with WandaVision may show up in here too, right? Because they're seeing all of these events happen, right? Obviously, some sort of resolution is going to come to the TVA, whether that's they get completely dissolved or they're remade, or reshaped. But it's not too far-fetched to think that they could be picking up on Westview.
You've been on this Mephisto train for a while.
Oh boy, I didn't bring it up. You did.
Is it possible that someone, let's just say someone, is pulling the strings and Renslayer is possibly involved, and now hopefully Sylvie is going to use Renslayer to get to whoever is at the top? And that person is also connected to other events that you have just mentioned.
My Mephisto belief is on a sliding scale, right? I came out hot, and then it kind of deflated when people were saying like the painting wasn't supposed to be Mephisto, it was Loki, so it kind of deflated again, and then it got back up. When we finally seen who the variant was, and it didn't match the description of the painting, so I'm like, maybe. And then now it's kind of back down. I think if there's going to be a big villain that shows up in this shows, which they've shown a willingness to just not do, right, and keep it more grounded for a television show. But if they're going to, I think Kang makes the most sense. Kang makes the most sense, or at least a variant of Kang, more so than Mephisto. I think if anything, it was a nugget. It was an Easter egg maybe for something down the road involving Mephisto. But I don't think he's the ultimate big bad behind everything what's going on with the TVA though.
Okay.
They did have that weird nightmare line though, where he was talking about where we're walking in the TVA. He was like, this is a nightmare. He was like, nah, that's a different department. So Nightmare is kind of a Mephisto adjacent character. It's similar power sets. He's not the devil-esque character that Mephisto is, so maybe they could get away with that instead of Mephisto, kind of mashed them together.
So we also see one of the TVA agents,
B-15.
Can't remember what B-15.
You're talking about the black
B-15.
lady, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. B-15.
So we see B-15 going through it in this episode because she's kind of finding more information, especially about C-20, about what she kind of went through, and she's starting to distrust the TVA just as much as Mobius is also starting to distrust the TVA. So we're seeing a lot of distrust and people believing the Lokis now. Any thoughts on that?
You think she's going to flip ship?
Yeah, she already did. Remember, she tried to save the Lokis at the end there with the Timekeepers. They did her dirty, by the way, because how the hell she been this big towering figure the whole show? She went to sleep. She threw one punch, missed, and went to
had all that smoke all season, and you get snuffed.
They did her dirty. They did her dirty. But no, I thought it was interesting, right? Because when they started the episode, they told us that C-20, the other one, the lady who had got enchanted, by Sylvie, that she went crazy and died. Which I was just like, man, that's a wild ass lie. Like, somebody lying if they say some shit like that. Like she went so crazy that she died. Like I was
that's
like,
why I think Renslayer's lying, because she's lied about multiple things.
Yeah, she lies about a lot.
She's covering for somebody. I just feel like.
Yeah. No, for sure. There's a bigger hand pulling the strings behind the curtain, right? They wouldn't dissolve the Timekeepers this early if there wasn't. I just think that because it's dealing with time travel or timelines or realities, that's more of Kang the Conqueror than it would be, the red guy. We did predict that Mobius was going to figure out where they were at, and that's how they were going to get off of Lamentis. So kudos to the guys. Okay, so Mobius, when he finally realized that the TVA was some lying MFers, right? I thought it was interesting with Mobius because he didn't need to have his memories brought back for him to know for a fact that the TVA was lying. Of course, there was the video with C-20, but that literally could have been a video of her going crazy, like she said. So he came to that conclusion still as a agent of the TVA, right? Unenchanted, didn't bring his memories back. So I think that's the reason why Renslayer has to keep such a tight rope on people when they're coming in through. He's like, you getting reset. Everybody getting reset. Everybody getting reset. She got to be that way, right? Because if it gets out what's actually happening to them, is you basically just recycling criminals as TVA agents is what I'm gathering. So if people start catching on, they'll start questioning this whole sacred timeline stuff.
I'm glad we finally figure out, or I guess somewhat loosely, we find out what pruning is, because it's not entirely killing a person off, which I kind of assume that.
What? That's the shit with the swords. What exactly? Like, what are they doing with them?
Well, so we know now that they're sending them to a kind of like purgatory, right? Because the extra credit scene, there were 3 different Lokis sitting there over our Loki, waking him up or whatever. I thought that some of the best moments of this show is when they pruned Mobius and Loki. I thought those were some of the best moments of the show because I didn't expect it. And I was like, oh shit. So now Sylvie about to be the new Loki. And no, fake Death Universe.
Nope.
We brought him back.
I was about to say, they're not even dead. I was like, wait, they can't kill him. There's 2 more episodes left. They can't kill him yet.
They pretended to have nuts, didn't they? They pretended to have a set.
Had you in the first half.
Yeah, they had us the first half. I'm not gonna lie.
It's funny because when Loki got pruned, he was kind of having a little bit of a touching moment with his Loki lover.
No, because you could just tell it was about to happen on Lamentis. It was about to happen in front of the Timekeepers. He pretty much confirmed that he was in love with her, the Mobius.
In love with himself.
It's on in Poppington. Yeah. So what is that?
So is that another person, or is it still considered him? Like just that, like self-love, or
like, it's him in another reality.
Just imagine going back home and saying that, like, yeah, I found love with myself in the future.
I mean, you got to be a different type of in love with yourself.
Yeah, he said it like, he was like, man, what kind of sick, twisted shit is this? You fell in love with yourself?
This is a sick Negro.
This is a sick Negro.
Yeah, pretty much. Miss Renslayer don't know how to hang on to her TemPad at all. Everybody just be taking it. The little girl took it from you in the courtroom, and you just watched her walk off into the door. Here go Mobius. Oh yeah, no, that's interesting. No, shit, absolutely. I'm just gonna go. Yeah, I'm just gonna go. Like everybody gets your TemPad, bro.
Which is
everybody.
If anybody should have a sacred TemPad, it should be the boss.
For sure. Here's a question. Loki ends, however it wraps up, right? Loki leaves the TVA and goes back to, this timeline at some point, the MCU timeline, Earth 616.
2012.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, sometime. Well, here's my question. He can go back to that line, but remember, time works differently in the TVA, whatever that may mean. When Loki leaves the TVA, where will he be in this world's timeline? He could come back and it could be 3 days later. He could come back and it could be 300 years later in the MCU.
But he could come back and it be the same time because they're operating outside of time.
Well,
so wouldn't it be current then?
I don't think he's going to go back to the very moment that he got arrested, right? Because then his life plays out like how he saw on the screen. You know what I mean? He becomes an anti-hero, becomes an actual hero, and then dies at the hand of Thanos. Why would he just walk himself right back into that? I think if he goes back, he's going to either try to go back a little before or a little after. But how does that end up working out? Because, well, I guess he can get anywhere. He can get anywhere with a TemPad. He can go anywhere. Where does he choose to go?
But if he goes before, he would have to change what's happening, no? For him to survive, you have to change what happens if he goes before. After, that's a whole different ball game. But before, you got to change all of that. So it's going to mess it up.
Could he not change it if he defeats the Timekeepers whoever's controlling the Timekeepers? Could he not go back and then change it?
But after all of this, okay, so it could go either way. Loki could be the guy who kicks off the multiverse of madness because he's trying to change things. He's trying to change his life along, this current storyline that we're on. That could be in combination with what Wanda got going on, trying to get her kids back. Those two things could be what drives us to a multiverse of madness. Or he could try to overshoot and try to start fresh, new life. I'm thinking I'm probably more so on the side of fuck shit up because we know there's going to be a multiverse of madness with Doctor Strange.
And he is Loki, so it would make sense that he would come in with all his other Loki friends and fuck shit up.
All his Loki friends. Yeah, no, I think we're so I guess we're at the point for predictions for episode 5. I definitely think they're gonna mob Lokis into the TVA and squat up for sure. For sure. Do they find Mobius in this place wherever they got pruned at? Do they go searching for Mobius first? Do you see other Mobiuses? Mobius-i?
Well, Mobius is having too much fun on a jet ski somewhere. In his heaven.
That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to get on my jet ski. Yeah.
I can kind of see that. Where he has to get some sort of sidekick to kind of help him fight whoever he needs to fight, because he doesn't have Sylvie right now. He doesn't know what's going on with Sylvie.
Mobius would be probably one of the most knowledgeable people about the inner workings of the TVA that are in whatever realm they're in right now, right? So The Loki variants aren't going to know more than an actual TVA agent, so you would probably need a guy like that. Like, how the hell do we get out of here? Number one, how do we get out of here? So I think he will show back up. I think it would be funny if his brother shows up as a variant. Luke Wilson. If Luke Wilson shows up as a variant, I'm gonna lose my shit.
That would be funny.
I'm gonna lose it. But that's my prediction. Is that it's not even really much of a prediction because we saw Loki come back, so we know we
saw Loki come back with all the Lokis. So
with all the Lokis, yeah. So he's there somewhere. They just gotta find him.
They all gonna be there.
So, what do you think Renslayer is going to tell Sylvie about the Timekeepers, about who's running things?
See, at this point, I don't trust her to not continue to lie to save her ass. So if we do find anything about the Timekeepers, it won't be until episode 6, obviously. So I think she's going to send her through some rabbit holes in 5, and then she's going to eventually have to tell the truth in 6.
For that to be the last plot line to tie off, right? With 2 episodes left, well, that sounds like some filler coming, and I hate filler late in the season. So let's just hope that it's filled with a lot of flashbacks and gives us a lot of context. I am going to say that there is one timekeeper who took out the other 2. And to keep the facade or keep the idea, going that, there are 3 arbiters who are going on this sacred timeline and they're out there policing it or whatever. To keep the facade of all that up, he kept the robots, right? The androids. And he used Renslayer to take out his agenda. Now, the only thing that I'll say about that in terms of it being Kang is that it wouldn't be so, how his character is in the comics, it wouldn't be so covert how he's going about it, right? It wouldn't be so sneaky and conniving. So I'm thinking that the person pulling the strings is probably another Loki variant. He's probably another Loki because why are they so thirsty for Lokis?
I was going to say, it seems to me that whoever is in charge needs a sacred timeline where Loki is dead.
Yeah.
Or Loki is done for.
Why? Or he just wants to be the only one.
Yeah.
He just wants to be the only one. Like, why did they need to come before the Timekeepers, before they got pruned? You could have just pruned them in the hallway. Why do they need to come up this elevator?
Yeah.
Could have got that done before you hurt Sylvie's feelings.
I could definitely see a Loki variant wanting to be the one and only Loki, and therefore eliminating whatever Loki he can. And that's why there's so many Lokis.
Hold on. What if Kang is the Loki variant?
It's possible. I mean,
that's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's a wild one. That's a wild one. I ain't gonna rubber stamp that one. I'm not gonna rubber stamp that one, but that would be nuts. That would be nuts.
But yeah, whoever it is, whatever the villain is, if it's Kang, if it's another Loki, we obviously see a benefit in getting rid of
Lokis, yeah.
So we agree that it's one man behind it all, is what we're saying.
For sure. Yeah, no, that's one guy.
All right, one man pulling the strings. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Copy.
No one man should have all that power.
That's how they're gonna end it with the Kanye song playing.
Yeah.
Any other Loki episode 4 takes?
Ramping up, it's getting better. So I'm really excited for the last 2 episodes for sure.
Agreed. It's gonna be action packed.
Hey! Where y'all going? Where y'all going?
Thanks for watching another Back of the Bus Squad episode. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
Want to check out another episode related to this? Go ahead and click that video to the left.
And if you want to catch up on some of our other episodes, make sure you click the playlist below.